This is Sasha, this is evidence number 3, and my topic was the feminism and the machismo through Mexican eyes, more specified in the teenagers, that it's Generation Z and the early millennials. And well, the first question was what else can be stated based on the results? And first of all, the micromachism thoughts that people find normal in the everyday basis, some thoughts about the abortion in Mexico, the types of feminism that society has created, the main idea or position of feminism, the women idea or position of the feminism, the information Mexicans know about feminism, the percentage of people that consider themselves as feminisms, and more or less how Mexico is affected by feminism or machismo, and also it can be stated that feminism 2.0. Okay, the first one is discoveries applied, and the first one was develop of technology. The feminism hasn't developed technology, but we are going to study how technology has helped us in this fight. For example, suppose if the internet were available in the development of the world several decades ago, how much more aware would girls have been about the world around them? How much more attention would have been paid to the harassment treatment of many girls worldwide, not only in Mexico? Or what if groups of anonymous activists who have exposed sexual abuse against women were around 20 or 30 years ago? How many rapes would not have been swept under the rug? I know this phrase that it was said by Carla Franklin, who is the founder of the managing director of Carlin Solutions, and she is a feminist 2.0, and this is the phrase. It's women using high tech to make sure we have equal rights, making sure that as moms, as daughters, as granddaughters, as nieces, as aunts, we are empowering ourselves in the workplace, at home, in our lives in general, and we do that through technology. And well, the next one is how feminism has helped to protect the environment. I know this is focused in Mexico, but I wanted to research a little bit of how feminism it's affected by the environment, and I found some research. For example, why should feminism care about the fight against climate change? Well, because as has been well documented, poor women are those who bear the greatest burdens of the impact. This includes not only women from developing countries, but also black women, indigenous women, and trans women, all of whom experience different forms of discrimination that translate to together levels of poverty. And well, temperature change are also putting women and girls at a greater risk of sexual violence, sexual exploitation, sexual trafficking, and domestic violence, specifically in emergency situations after natural disasters. I investigated, and in the 2007 World Disasters Report demonstrated that, for example, after the 2004 tsunami in the Indian Ocean, many women and girls from the Sri Lanka, Acne in India were forced to marry tsunami widowers because their families could not longer support them. When Hurricane Michael touched the ground of Florida in October of 2018, domestic violence increased among affected families, and according to Meg Baldwin, director of the Refugees of Home Attention Center for Victims of Domestic Violence, during the hurricane, their centers in Florida received double of numbers of women compared to their normal rates. Despite these statistics, the impact of natural disasters on domestic violence indicators is often ignored. Policies or regulations, I like to add also the right to vote that it was applied on 1953 in Mexico. But well, since this is a research that is based on the teenagers and this is like for new generations, I find a new policy that it was applied on January 13 more or less of this year. And well, let me read it for you. So the Mexico's new feminist foreign policy is based on a set of principles that seek to promote government actions to reduce and eliminate structural differences, gender gaps, and inequalities in order to build a more just and prosperous society. adding two other international examples, Mexico's FFP will seek to apply its focus on human rights and gender equality all across sectors and areas of Mexico foreign policy, to make visible the contribution of women to foreign policy and global actions, and to maintain its consistency and congruence by doing this both within and outside of the foreign ministry. The strategy will be implemented over the 2020 and 2014 period based on the following guidelines: foreign policy with a gender perspective and feminist agenda abroad, parity within the foreign ministry, a foreign ministry free of violence that is safe for all, visible equality and feminism in all areas of foreign ministry. Mexico is the first country in Latin America to adopt a feminist foreign policy, and it joins countries such as France, Canada, Norway, and Sweden in reaffirming the importance of gender equality for developing of just, peaceful, and happy societies. And also to change people's minds, it helps to change people's perspective of their own everyday behavior when they notice the machismo or the micromachism acts that they have been included to their lives without knowing it. The change I want to do with the research that I just had is to change in the new generation's perspective of women in society and search for equality without the needing of fight, just by forcing them to think of how they are behaving in their everyday basis. And well, the next one is research results in the future. Will they change society, science, culture, environment, or any other aspects of the world? And well, the results I got are only what millennials and Z generation think about feminism and the micromachism that still exists in our society. It seeks to find if there are teenagers with macho ideologies or if there are more teenagers feminists changing their mind. It doesn't include resolution for this future, but even though I found that this is disappointing to see how there are still teenagers, men and women, who despite having the full range of information on their phones, still have macho attitudes and behaviors. 81% of the women interviewed in my research are in favor of the feminism and what all implies to be a feminist. And I hope that with this research, stereotypes will be broken and the world will open up to the fact that all such massive movement has true meaning and that all above, Mexico is prepared to become a feminist Mexico, where it doesn't seek to put anyone on top of anyone, rather than egalitarian and feminist society believed, where feminicide, harassment, or case of violence will be dismissed with the same examples of society in some future may impose. Factors and people against my work. The people that can be against my work would be the machistas or even the society that I interact with every day. Because nowadays the micromachism is very marked, so it could be anywhere. As you can see in the results of the interviews, even teens have parts of machismo added to their everyday life. This micromachism needs to disappear entirely so no one could be against my work. Now, I don't know exactly who can be against my work because it's impossible for me to know who still has this micromachism style added to their lives as normal. But the thing that I know for basis is that if people needs to change, as many feminists have done right now, because one day we will be too much people supporting this equality and we will not support the racist behaviors anymore, so there will be laws or anything else that we can use to protect ourselves and not only shout in the street. And well, that is everything. This is the script. I'm gonna put it in my presentation in a PDF, and also here at the end it's gonna be the bibliography. Thank you very much for hearing my research, and I hope I had a 10 because I read a lot in order for me to do this. Thank you.